What's up, everyone? Welcome to This Day in Philly Sports History for June 26, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. As you can see, we are back in the Orland studios. Had a great time in Cape May. Would have loved to stay a little bit longer, but had to get back to work, take care of the dog, have a wedding this weekend, so I have to start prepping for that. I'm in the wedding. One of my very best friends and oldest friends from high school is getting married, even though he's a Mets fan. More on that in a minute. But I apologize if the sound is a little off. For whatever reason, as you can see, the microphone 99% of the time stays in the same place. And I don't touch the sound settings once I get them set up on my computer. But for whatever reason, it takes some time to get things figured out and situated. Go buy shirts off of phillygoat.com so I can afford to buy or hire a Baba Booey to take care of this. But so I do apologize if the sound is a little bit off. For whatever reason, it takes me a day or two to get reacclimated when we're on the road. We'll be on the road on Saturday because of the wedding. Very much looking forward to it. Excited for it. Always good to see some of that crew from the old school. So looking forward to that. But speaking of Mike and the Mets, Phils won 7-6 to take that series against the Mets. Good game. Zach Wheeler did not bring his A game, but the Phillies battled and hung in that game, and it was just a matter of time. They were patient at the plate there in that eighth inning when they just kept walking and getting hit by pitches. So kudos to them. I like the way sometimes they play. They're patient, and I've said this a couple times. There's a lot of fight in this team, and you can never really count them out. So that's a good win for them. They have a day off. They're flying out to Chicago for a series with the Cubs this week. But Trey Turner is starting to play like the guy who's making $300 million, the same guy we saw at the World Baseball Classic, so that's good now that the weather is getting warmer. The announcers even said, too, if you watch that game, some of those balls were, because it was warm and muggy, it was really the first time it's been muggy this spring, summer so far, which I feel is a good thing. Like, I don't do the humidity very well, but when it's humid out, those balls fly out of Citizens Bank Park. And they made a comment. I was listening to it on the way back from the shore, and then when I got back home in time to watch the end of it, they were commenting on just how some of the balls were carrying. So I look for Bryce to get back on track as well now that the weather's getting warmer. And before we wrap up on this game, I have to say, and the Comcast camera crew does a great job with this, but whenever they play the Mets, obviously there's always a ton of Mets fans in the seats, and they find the perfect people to see their reaction, because honestly, this isn't the first time this has happened to the Mets in Citizens Bank Park, and to be equal, the Phillies have done the same thing, so I'm not, well, I mean, yeah, I guess I am picking on Mets fans. But the look on those faces, man, the one old guy just looked miserable. And there's always some drunk guy who has a Sunday plan sitting right next to him going crazy. So it's always fun with the Mets, more so than any other team the Phillies play when they come back and win games like this. So good win for the Phils. Have the day off. They were able to salvage this homestand. Didn't do so well against the Braves, but I mean, taking two out of three from the Mets is a good way to end that. All right. Update on the Sixers thing I started to mention yesterday. As I was able to look at it more, I mentioned Tobias Harris's dad was talking trash about the Phillies or the Sixers not utilizing him properly. Like he's an assassin scorer, this, that, and the other. Makes more sense because his dad also is his agent. So I think he's posturing a little bit there. I don't know if he's trying to raise his trade value to get him to go somewhere. As it seems now, I've read reports that they are content on just keeping him right now. So we'll see. I mean, I think what they need is they need to get like a Danny Ainge or a Brad Stevens type guy, like somebody with that Howie Roseman mentality. So while you're putzing around over here with Tobias and asking unrealistic trade demands, Brad Stevens is out here making trades and having draft picks and trying to make his team better. I think that's the difference between the two organizations right now. It's almost like a clown organization. We need somebody to come in the front office, and not Sam Hinkie, who's all about stockpiling every draft pick he can get for the process. I don't know who the answer is, but I think until we get a front office on this team, we're going to be in this. And I feel like I didn't watch the draft because I started to, and ESPN's coverage was absolutely horrible. But just reading and seeing what Brad Stevens did, who learned under Danny Ainge, that's what we need. We need that Howie Roseman type mentality where we're going in and if we're going to make a trade, we're winning it. And I think that is what's holding the Sixers back right now. The front office is just a hot mess. So enough of that rant. I didn't expect to go on a rant about the Sixers front office for 2 minutes. But, I mean, it's just the truth. I mean, what else can they do? Like, they're just a joke. It looks more and more increasingly likely, too, that Harden is going to re-sign. Now he's intrigued by Nick Nurse. I guess he had a one-on-one meeting with him after Nurse was hired. I guess they introduced him to all the players. So it looks like, to be completely honest, we're running back the team we had last year. Maybe they can get, I don't know. Nick Nurse is a player development guy, so maybe he can maximize the most out of Harden, Embiid, Maxey. Maybe he can find a way to make Tobias that assassin killer, as his dad says. We'll see, but it's if they're running it back, they're in the conversation for top 3 again. It's just we need to get past that second round. All right, enough Sixers. Flyers, it seems they're poised to make a couple big trades. They're just kind of waiting on some things to kind of fall into place. And again, I'm drinking the orange and black Kool-Aid, but I'm putting my full faith into Danny Briere. All right. Be sure to check out Back to the Future as well. Dropped an episode late last week. Before I went to the shore, I will actually I've been reposting it on my social media. Be sure to check that out. All the details for Philly Sports Most Lovable Loser tournament is on there. I will post the brackets at some point today. It might not be till later on, but give the brackets a look just to get familiar with it. We are starting that on Saturday. I'm excited. We're starting it on Saturday while we're on the road, so it's just a fun time to get going. It's a nice long weekend, but Philly's Most Lovable Loser tournament, where we're going to crown our favorite, best, whatever you want to call it, team to never win a championship. But go to Back to the Future with a PH, wherever you get your podcast, to check out the details and how the tournament's going to be set up. I unveiled the brackets like the selection committee. You can fill it out at home, whatever you want to do. But be sure to check that out. And while you're there, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. All of those things help our algorithm out. Do the same thing here. Another way you can help is continue to go to phillygoat.com. Phillies beat the Mets. Go celebrate by buying a new Philly shirt. One thing I don't mention a lot about them is they do have a ton of kids styles and kids sizes available as well. So one thing my wife is doing is she got me the Philly Fanatic shirt with the Major League Baseball logo. She's getting the kids matching shirts too. So be sure to go get your kids. They have all the colors you can imagine. If you have a daughter who likes pink like me, get her a pink one. You have a son like me who just doesn't care, just get him whatever color you want to get. But go to phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. That's good for anything on their site. That's phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery. All right, so today we're going to go back to 1996. And on June 26, 1996, excuse me, pardon me, it was the NBA draft. And going back to the Sixers, but this was a change of direction for the team. They had struggled throughout the 90s to get any draft picks right. But they had the first pick. Pat Croce came in, and it kind of changed the culture of the team and just really got. We need somebody like Pat Croce now on this team, to be honest. Change the losing culture that's there, a breath of fresh air, whatever. But they had the number one pick. They took Allen Iverson, and I mean, we've talked a lot about Allen Iverson. He's one of my favorite players. We know about the 2000-2001 MVP season. We know about the practice rant, but I think while it was happening, I don't think we realized just how special this guy was. We know he won the MVP, but he was an 11-time All-Star, 2-time All-Star MVP, Rookie of the Year in 96, 3-time All-NBA first, 3-time All-NBA second, 1-time NBA third team, 4-time scoring champ. He's a member of the All-75th anniversary team. So think about that. In the 75 years, and I forget how many players they ended up picking, he's one of the top players to ever play the game. And I think we took him for granted while we had him. And that's something we tend to do a lot in Philly. And I feel like I'm going on another lecture rant, but it's the truth. I think we take our players for granted while they're here. We did it with Iverson. We did it with McNabb. And yes, both of those players I just named had their own shortcomings and issues in this, that, and the third. But I think we didn't truly appreciate it. And maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I doubt it because, trust me, I feel as though we took Allen Iverson for granted and never really truly appreciated what he did. I mean, I think he was ahead of his time with the whole culture aspect of it. I feel like he probably would be a much better player even now because of the way it's not as physical of a game. I still think with that driving, I mean, imagine Allen Iverson on this team with Joel Embiid. I think they'd run a great pick and roll. I think he might make Tobias that assassin scorer, as his dad said, being driving in and kicking out to him. But I just feel like he was underappreciated and one of the all-time best athletes to ever play in Philadelphia. And I use the term athlete because he probably, despite being small, probably could have went to the NBA or the NFL as a quarterback. I don't know if he still does, but at one point he held Virginia State records for football too. So on this date, June 26, 1996, Philadelphia was introduced to Allen Iverson, and it was a love-hate, rocky relationship, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, he's in the Hall of Fame. His number 3 is retired, and I don't know if there's anybody, maybe Brian Dawkins, who is as beloved in Philly as Allen Iverson. And maybe that's another tournament we can do, most beloved athlete in Philly. But on this day, Sixers drafted Allen Iverson number 1 overall. All right. And if you want more on Allen Iverson, we just did the episode on him and Larry Brown a few weeks ago, so be sure to go check that out at Back to the Future. Why couldn't it have worked out? I feel like both guys share enough of the blame, but go check that out and give me your thoughts on that. All right, rivalry month is winding down. Today's rival is the New York Islanders, and this dates back to 1972 when the Islanders came in the league. Flyers hold a 144, 101, 26, and 18 record versus them. They have met 4 times in the postseason. Flyers holding a slight edge and winning 3 series to 2. They played 5 times. Flyers hold a 3-2 edge in series. They won the 75 semifinals and the 85-87 division finals. However, the Islanders won the big one, the 1980 Stanley Cup final against the Flyers, as well in 2020, that second round, whatever the wonkiness was of the bubble playoff tournament, however they had it up. There are a lot of similarities between the Islanders and the Flyers. Obviously, they have a hatred toward the Rangers, and of the 2 New York teams, the Rangers are probably more of a rival to the Flyers than the Islanders, just because I guess it dates back further. But the Islanders are up there on the hate meter. This is another one of those old school that would be great if the Flyers can get it together and kind of renew this rivalry as the Islanders are starting to get better as well. So I'm going to score this one a 3 out of 5. This is another one of those asterisk ones that I think as the Flyers get better, this rivalry will grow as well. But on this day, back in 1996, Sixers draft AI number 1 overall in the draft. Phillies off today as they travel out to Chicago, looking to take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. As the Sixers turn, I'll have hopefully some type of update and I'm sure tomorrow it'll be, the Sixers are fine keeping Tobias Harris and James Harden. So we shall see, but it is like a soap opera. Be sure to go to phillygoat.com, use that promo code Jim Montgomery, get your AI with the Ear Cup shirt, celebrate the day he was drafted. Great day for it. I'll give you 10% off your order there. But this has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Monday, and until next time, I will see you when I see you.